states that we live in a society in which over 1 million students fail high school every year. The statistics shouldn't say that 1 million students fail to graduate every year. However, they should say that our public school systems fail 1 million students every year. Also, the same study found that 66% of those who fail to graduate are unemployed a year after in which they should have graduated. Even some students who didn't graduate high school can't even complete simple subtraction for cash transactions. What I told you, there is an alternative to this public school system that would not only decrease the rate of failure, it would have a much higher approval rating. The educational voucher system has two key improvements in education that public schools lack. One is educational freedom, and the second is an education that is sculpted to fit the student. I would like you all to sit back and allow your minds to believe that we can survive without a public school system, and if we implement a voucher school system, schools will vastly improve, and better schools mean smarter kids. To begin with, in America, we have very selected educational freedoms. Yes, we do have some charter and private schools, in which, in some cases, the government helps subsidize the students' tuition. Although, in comparison to a country like Denmark, we do not have any educational freedoms. According to the Scandinavian Journal of Educational Research, Denmark founded an educational voucher system in 1849, where in principle anyone can set up a private school and receive financial support from the government issued by student vouchers. The only requirements to the education that they provide are ones that the school must teach the core subjects of Danish, mathematics, and English, and must provide an education that is, in quality terms, equal to one of public schools. This system creates what many Americans have not realized or have been able to experience is what we call educational freedoms. Educational freedoms can create a reality where parents can choose how their children are raised. In our current system, the majority of parents do not get to choose where their child goes. Yes, they may be able to transfer schools within their county or within their district, but what you fail to realize is all public schools are run by the same guidelines that are set by the state. With a private school system, if you don't want your child to be forced to say the Pledge of Allegiance and to learn about the studies of evolution by the teachers, you can do so. If you want your children to be taught to study the Bible instead of taking electives and praise the Jewish zombie, you can do that as well. On the other side of the coin, with educational freedoms, the experiences doesn't have any limits. Moving on now, private schools offer an education that is geared towards the student, not the average of students. The National Center for Educational Statistics states that on average, the student costs $11,000 a year. If students were to take that $11,000 a year to the school of their choice, the public school system would be demolished. In its place, there would be a whole new school system. One is which created to match the interests and the needs of the children who attend there. The problem we have with the current situation with public schools is the one that we don't have any competition. With competition newly created because of the public schools, there's vast majorities where we can learn. If the child, in the public schools, if the child fails or the parents are upset about how the teachers are teaching, nothing happens. They don't get fired, they don't get a pay cut, and they're not required to care. Yes, there are some fantastic teachers out there, but they are becoming few and far between. If a voucher system was implemented, there would be a competition in which if the student fails, so does the teacher. In a traditional school system, it is very hard to fire a teacher for any misconduct. In a TV broadcast called 2020 Stupid in America, John Stossel uncovers how hard it is to fire a teacher for any misconduct or poor results. A simple case is, in New York, a teacher was caught sending lewd emails to a student, some in which mentioning he wanted to have sex with her, oral sex, and even as far as masturbation. Even with all this, Evidence? They had to pay him more than $300,000 not to teach for 6 years while they went through very expensive litigation. Although they don't let the teacher sit at home and get paid. Rather, they have them come to what they call rubber rooms. What are rubber rooms? A rubber room is simply a big room where teachers lounge around and get paid for not teaching. Why? Because they're a danger to their students. They can go to these rooms for anything from being racist to being dangerous or to being guilty of sexual misconduct. And they get to sit there. And this is all because of their union contract. Makes it so difficult to fire. Private schools allow for higher teacher pay for those teachers who are successful in teaching, and lower teacher pay or unemployment for those who can't seem to grasp the concept of teaching. There are charter schools that are funded in the United States that are able to sculpt their education to their students' needs. Because charter schools are generally smaller, the school is able to give more direct attention to all their students, not just a select few. I recently spoke with Mark Barnaby, who is the former Manatee County School Board attorney. He stated that while he was the school board's attorney, that school board implemented 10 charter schools within their system. When I asked him if he would do it again, he shockingly said no. Although he stated if he were going to do it again, he would create the schools that would be specialized in certain areas. This supports what has been proven in Denmark and shows that the students were able to have schools that focus on math and science, schools that focus on sports, schools that focus on religion, or schools that focus on arts and music. If you can remember high school, you will also remember thinking things such as, why do I need to learn this? I'm never going to use this in life. With this voucher school system, you won't be saying those things. Because the voucher school system is only going to be teaching you in things which you know. The fact is that by implementing a voucher school system, you would remove the monopoly the public school systems have right now. This would give the parents the power because the parents choose where the child goes, and the money follows the child. The newly created competition to have the best school will force schools to create environments that kids actually enjoy learning. Better schools will increase the learning power while learning the things they will actually use later in life. One might say that private or charter schools only cater to the rich white kids that live on top of the hill. The fact is the opposite is true. Credo, which is a group at Stanford University, conducted a study on charter schools in which the director, Maggie Raymond, stated that the results reveal that charter schools are getting better on average, and that charter schools are benefiting from low-income, disadvantaged, and special education students. She also stated that these students are on average the children in the public schools that report as underachieving, yet in smaller and private schools, these children thrive. As I explained, I truly believe that getting rid of the public school system as we know it and switching to a voucher system is the right way to go. With a voucher system, this country's citizens would have one of the most important freedoms on this planet, educational freedom. In addition, our future will greatly improve because the students will actually be learning what they need to learn, and because of that, they will greatly succeed in those fields they study. I ask of you to believe that we do not need a public school system, and yet we need a voucher system, one that caters to our kids, one that knows what they need to learn, and that are willing to fight for it.